But anyway, um, we're encouraged to ask questions. And I get it. There are unfortunately a lot of self-proclaimed Christian churches or Christians who have the attitude of how dare you ask about this or that when it comes to stuff. I get that there are some who do truly treat it like it's supposed to be indoctrination, but when you go to the Bible and stuff itself, we are encouraged to ask questions. And also, God is not scared of us asking questions. He understands that we don't know everything. And you can go to scriptures, that talks about, different things, what it said, like Jeremiah 23:16, Ezekiel 13:9, Deuteronomy 18:20, 2 Timothy 3, Matthew 16:11-12, Acts 20, verses 20-30, Titus 1:6-16, etc. But here's something I also want to point out. Jesus also took a bunch of questions during his ministry. He also took a bunch of criticism. Now, if he had the old attitude of "don't how dare you ask," he would have basically blasted everyone that asked him anything, which obviously didn't happen. Even when he was arrested and being mocked, he still didn't do anything. He either rebuked some people or he would try to answer their questions. But what about the indoctrination of evolution? Many atheists would argue that the only theory that belongs in schools when it comes to, science is evolution. That intelligent design is not to be allowed, and neither is creationism. But wait, all three arguments uses science to try to explain things, tries to explain the origins of human life. So why is it that only evolution is allowed, which is only the viewpoint of many atheists, instead of intelligent design, at the very least, or creationism? Why? Because they only agree with evolution. And there are a lot of evolutionists who have the attitude, "Oh, how dare you ask about this? How dare you criticize Darwinism and whatever evolution?" But if they're going to argue that students should be free thinkers, then they should allow all arguments, with this topic here. They should be able to have access to all three. That way they could see all viewpoints and then really determine for themselves what they choose to believe. But a lot of evolutionists be like, "No, we shouldn't do that because we believe evolution is right, so only evolution should belong." But there's a bunch of Christians but there's some Christians who are scientists who argue that people should see both sides of the aisle. They should see arguments of both sides, so again, they could truly determine for themselves what they want to believe. Ben Stein has made a documentary called Expelled. And there was a bunch of people who have gotten fired, who gotten blacklisted, just for, mentioning intelligent design or questioning Darwinism. And Ben Stein has pointed some of this out in his documentary. And some of those names that were mentioned are ones like Dr. Richard von Sturberg, Dr. Caroline Crocker, Dr. Gonzalez, Pamela R. Winnick, David Coppage, and even Ben Stein himself was fired over the documentary he made. Over the documentary and his comments against Obama. He